Well, welcome back to the Count Us In podcast, episode 83. My name is Harry Sermon, and I'm joined with the rest of my trio of hosties. The return of Jamie Joyner.
Yay.
Hosties, I love that.
Hosties.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah. Evening, everyone. Hope you're good.
Hey, and of course, Matt Lacey.
Hi, Harry. Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. I didn't realise we were in your trio. Harry
Yes.
Sermon and the Hosties.
Yes, that's the trio.
Not the non-mayor trio.
Not the non-mayor
it's
trio.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Drum exclusive trio.
Yeah. It's good to be back. Welcome back, Jamie.
Oh, thank you. Good to be
The
back.
try that's a
I've
nightmare
missed,
for any venue.
Our bi-weekly drum hangs.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. It'd be nice for us all to catch up, kind of properly, because we kind of, July is always very busy in this industry, and it's still very busy, and it's only going to get busier, sadly. But yeah, it's going to be nice to chat. We're going to be talking about running backing tracks today, this afternoon, wherever you are. But first, let's get into our usual bit of fun. Something new. Hit the theme tune.
Actually, do a theme tune, maybe.
We need a theme tune. Yeah, we need a shiny thing or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe it should just be a cymbal.
Yeah.
It's I'm a symbol
Sure,
for drum
bell
related.
or something.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, let's start with the Italy trip download from Jay.
Download.
Yeah, go
Let's hear about this adventure, this romp in Italy.
Well, yes, that's why I was sadly unable to make the last episode. I was very sad, but I did enjoy wandering around Rome, listening to your two lovely voices for the day. So that was brilliant. But yes, I've been on a 2-week little trip to Italy, very last minute with work, and kind of started up near Venice and did a big Venice day, kind of on a travel day, and then sort of worked my way down through the center of Italy and ended up near Rome in the end, which was lovely because I've never been to Rome either. So yeah, that was a first. I took every chance I could to go and explore in any downtime. I stayed on for a couple of extra days in Rome at the end to do a kind of more like holiday-ish type thing. So that was lovely, but yeah, work went super well. Had some lovely candidates, and the centres were fantastic. Met loads of lovely new people. Really got to chat to the centre reps and hear all about their schools that they're running, the gigs they're putting on for all of their students. It's just fantastic. Like one of them was sorting out gigs. They regularly gig in like the restaurant just opposite them, and they're like 14, 15. And you just imagine it like Italian evenings in the square, like at like 8-9 p.m. You know what I mean? That vibe, that atmosphere that everyone loves when you go to Europe, and everyone's out, the kids are about, and they're on their bikes, and there's like wine and gelato and everything like that, and these kids are out like playing these gigs in the town squares and stuff. So it's just really awesome hearing all these stories, and being able to be a part of watching their musical journey. It's been fantastic. So feel very fortunate.
But those centres, Jay, just as are they kind of like because I know some of the kind of examiner centres over here are basically based in either in like a music rehearsal space, and they book a room. Were the ones over there part of like purpose built or purpose intention like music schools, or were they rooms that were actually just open to the public for rehearsals? What was the mix in terms of the environments and the buildings?
It's a real mix actually. It is the same in the UK, but I mean, from my experience of doing some stuff in Europe, there's a lot more of the centres seem to be specific schools, but that might just be the centres that I've done. An exam centre could be a school classroom. It could be a rehearsal studio, like you said. It could be somewhere like Music Workshop. Shout out Kim. Run rock school days regularly, so I think I did mostly mostly they were like actual music schools. So they would have guitarists playing and piano teachers and vocalists and a big drum room and that sort of thing they put on. Some of them had like little stages like in the school and like a sort of not an auditorium, but it's like a hall where you can sit and watch them all perform. So they all, every year will have big sort of showcases and stuff like that. So yeah, just a really great environment for them all to be in.
Cool, man.
All the time.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's some lovely centres, lovely reps, and I felt very welcomed, and it was awesome.
I was very jealous. Very jealous of that.
The food was also a particularly a highlight.
Absolutely,
Italian food has always been high up on my list, but it surpassed all expectations for this one. I had a lot of I tried to eat very local to the region I was in. A lot of homemade stuff. I tried a few new things that I wouldn't usually try just because it was a local thing. Similar with the wine and stuff like that. Just trying everything that was a little bit more unique. So I really enjoyed that side of exploring it as well.
Cool, man.
So
great.
Yeah, it was cool.
Something about tomatoes over there. I didn't like tomatoes when I went to Italy. And I've been to Italy like a couple of times in the last couple of years. And I love tomatoes. But their tomatoes over there is just...
There is something different about
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They don't come in a can for a start.
Well, yeah. They're actually grown in the sun.
I was having some thought, like, while I was over there, I was like, I know, like, there are so many places in Europe and around the world that just have, like, these quality, unique dishes. And I'm thinking, like... Even just like pizza, it's just such an amazing meal, to a bit of food to have. And I'm like, what really is the UK bringing to the table?
Yeah,
like
you look at a frozen pizza very differently.
Pieces, but like, I don't know, fish and chips just doesn't really like.
I tell you what we bring to the table. Literally, the cutlery.
Yeah,
that's Sheffield steel cutlery. That's it.
Yeah. Some Yorkshire puddings, maybe.
Can't beat it.
I'm not sure.
Well.
Anyway, we better move on before other countries turn off. Yeah.
Well, from
let's hear about what's going on with you guys.
From tomatoes to drumheads. Matt, lead us in. What's new with you?
Yeah, something new. I've got a few bits and bobs, as it says in the notes. I had a lovely little care package come over from Evans since I'm with them, and I've reheaded stuff. I won't go through the whole shopping list stuff, but
a good reel for later on.
I've taken some photos. I've posted a few bits, but new set of G2s coated for my kit, and I've put G1 coated on the bottom on the Rezo side. So I've not really had a chance to play that in anger yet, but I'm looking forward to how that's going to tune up and what that's going to bring to that. Also thought I would try the UV3 EQ3, so UV2 EQ3 kick head. So I've put that on my Premier kit for my original gigs, which is lovely. I like that. And then I've replaced the snare side Rezo on my Bluebird snare and a new set of wires. So a tune-up kit from the snare, and I've put a new UV1 on the top. And that's been the meat and potatoes of it, really. I'm now also a couple of tuning keys. So I've got a pull cord tuning key.
Ah, nice.
Which when I had to rehead 10 drums, basically, because I was taking heads off and putting those on another kit, and that was worth its weight. That
should we believe the hype around this drum key?
Well, I do believe the hype now. I've used it because that in the rehead that must have saved me an hour.
I guess when you've got like 10 drum heads to do.
Yeah. I'm doing tops and bottoms.
Yeah.
Tops and bottoms on a 7-piece and a 5-piece. Well, not the snares. So a shell pack, a 4-piece shell pack, and a 6-piece shell pack. Top and bottoms. Top and bottoms on one kit, tops on another. Because my other kit runs, I've already got G1 clears on the bottom of those Rezos. So so nice, pretty stuff, and a couple of nice Evans t-shirts, and and I've actually gone through and grabbed a couple of pairs of sticks as well, which I've tried. I've got a pair of the Anna Canillis signature stick, which are a 7A, but with a later kind of taper on it. But the taper kind of goes in and then comes back out again, so it's like what I'd call a concave taper. And I
scared playing that on like the edge of a cymbal or something.
Yeah, well, it's because I just wanted something a bit lighter for jazz stuff. So I thought I'd try that. Yeah, try them, and also a pair of the Finesse 718s, which are a 2mm thicker than the Annika sticks, so they're a 14mm 7A, so slightly thicker 7A, not quite a 5A, and they've got quite an early-ish taper on them with a very small round, so it's not a barrel tip, it's like a ball tip. And personally, I played some jazz at the weekend, some backing track stuff, and literally played the same songs back to back and swapped sticks, and then went back and forth. So A-B'd them really. And
nice.
I'm coming down on the side of the Finesse stick because it's just a little heavier and it's just a little thicker in the hand by 0.2 of a mil. And and the definition on the stick from the round, the ball end tip, is really nice. So I think that's probably the way I'll go with those. So nice. Lots of bits and bobs. We'll do. Thank you. Yeah.
Sticks.
I always find it interesting when like sticks are like so like that finitely different.
Yeah.
But what happens when you get a heavy version of that? Because you know, obviously, there's almost like like there is with cymbals. There's like weight ranges. Yeah. Like how, like, would you notice the difference between those two sticks, but having a heavier version of the thinner one?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Certainly in feel, like you
but,
feel like,
but it's more density is the range, isn't it? Isn't it? It's not like
I think
width,
on no pun intended, but on balance, I think the Annika stick is slightly more forward weighted.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because obviously Primark do the kind of the rebound and the forward, and I think the Annika one is more middling, whereas the Finesse stick is more rebound. But yeah, the stick just feels a little too light for me.
Okay.
So I said, I showed them to my dad. He said, I'll try these. I've got a jam session tomorrow night. So he's taken a pair of Anna Canilli's signature sticks to a jazz jam tomorrow night.
Great.
He's going to tell me how he feels. But lots of cool stuff, and I'll be sharing some more bits in the future, no doubt. Yeah.
Love it.
Very exciting.
Anything new from you, H? Any bits?
I haven't really actually got anything like new drum wise. I've been putting off buying a new kick head because I don't really want to part with like nearly £100 for a bass drum. But what I'm thinking of though, and part of me's like, no, I should just commit. But part of me's like, this would be a good time. I'm thinking of just getting a coated Ambassador. So I've seen a few people using them, and there was a guy using them the other day, and I thought his kick sounded really good. It was mic'd, so how much is, but I messaged, I was like, wow, like, how'd you find it? And he was like, I love it. You get so much more low end. You can still get like click and attack, but you just get that warmth that the thicker heads kind of take away a little bit because they're kind of dampening and kind of shortening the drum up. I was like, it's really interesting. And yeah, like literally the price difference in a 20-inch Ambassador versus like an SMT is literally 50% difference.
Yeah. Is that a 20-inch Ambassador specifically for kick hoops? Is it got flange on it?
No, it's the same. It's just the bass drum. Yeah, it's just the same head. Yeah,
right.
Because they offer Ambassador, I think, from 8 to 20-inch, so it would fit my bass drum. Yeah.
Right, I see.
So yeah, I might give it a go. I'll see. But I've got a clear Power Stroke 3 that was fine, and I just wanted to coat it, so I just switched it. So it's still got a lot of life in it. And it does sound really, really good, but it's obviously being clear. It's just got that click a bit more, and it feels like you maybe do lose a little bit of the warm side of things, as you would with a clear to coated.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I just wanted an excuse to talk about the new Stones album, to be honest. I got that. I got that the other day.
It's on the screen,
came out on
the
Friday.
screen for our visual viewers.
Yeah.
Visual listeners, sorry.
Visual listeners, yeah.
Yeah.
Horrendous album cover.
And you've just done a little drum cover, haven't you? Is that off this album? Or
That is, yeah. So one of my recent, I actually did that about whenever it came out, like a month or two ago. I just kind of forgot about it, and I was like, oh, I'll put that out because I'm sure I'll hopefully like the album in 2 months. But yeah, I mean, obviously Mr. Jordan is on the drums for most of the album. But yeah, it's just great. I really fell in love with their last album, Hackney Diamonds, from 2022, 2023. And I kind of, during lockdown, I kind of started to get into a bit more of the Beatles and the Stones and stuff like that, and, you know, kind of dug past what I already knew, started to kind of study a bit of Ringo and a bit of Charlie and all that sort of stuff, and just do that research that maybe you don't always have time to do, where you kind of get into a player, but you get into their influences. So I found like Levon Helm and all these sort of guys, you know. And then, you know, the kind of time had passed and so on, and kind of forgotten about it. And obviously, you know, Steve being my favourite drummer, when obviously he took up the chair, it was interesting when they released music. So I thought, well, how is this going to sound? So yeah, got really into the last album. Obviously was looking forward to this one. But the production and the sound on it is just incredible, absolutely incredible. The drums are just wide open, they're full, they're kind of really present in the mix, but they don't overshadow everything. I think it's a real masterclass, and he's got some great sounds on it. Charlie plays on a song as well.
Oh, does he?
That sounds really great. He played on a song on the last album as well. Paul McCartney on bass as well, a couple of other guest features. Chad Smith plays bass drum on one song. Not Kit.
Plays bass drum like with a foot pedal, or
I think with the mallet. I think bass
drum. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Chad Smith's foot was
Chad Smith's right foot was credited.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But that's kind of my only new thing, really. But it's amazing. I highly recommend it if you're in any way interested in that sort of thing. It's a really good listen.
I'm hesitant to ask because we don't want to go down a rabbit hole before we get to the main topic. But you know, from your perspective and knowing so much about Steve Jordan playing, and if there's a track on there that's got Charlie playing on it, how do you think like Steve's approached that, or what do you feel in terms of the feel he's playing? Because he's being himself. He's not going to try and imitate Charlie Watts.
No.
But he's also probably conscious with his purist kind of session musician head on.
For the song.
The song.
Yeah.
What's right and what works for the Stones is what Charlie's been doing for 40 years.
Yeah, and the rest.
How do you think how do you think he's approached that in terms of playing what he feels is right without trying to be Charlie Watts? I
think if you listen to Hackney Diamonds, there's a song that is, I actually didn't notice Charlie's playing on this album, because it to me maybe it didn't sound like him, but maybe it sounded more in line with how Steve is now playing, if that makes sense. Yeah. Whereas on Hackney Diamonds, I think his track is like, he plays on like maybe track 7 or 8, for example, and you can really hear the difference. Right. You can really hear, I mean, first thing he hits is like a China. So like there's your kind of giveaway. I don't think there's a China on the last. I don't think there's a China on the last record, but there's a lot of China on this. But again, maybe this is a good conversation to maybe have another episode. But obviously when Steve did the Expensive Winer stuff with Keith back in the 80s, all of that playing is kind of very much present there. Yeah. Because again, he was always influenced by Charlie. And I think he can very much do that kind of feel in the same way that Charlie has taken a lot of his sound from Jim Keltner. And Jim Keltner has very much taken it from Levon Helm, and they're all sort of friends, you know. So there's sort of a legacy of it. And even like the guy from The War on Drugs is very Charlie Watts-y, Jim Keltner-y sort of vibe, you know, the missing hi-hat on the backbeat and stuff. I think he does a really good job of doing both. There's some great Charlie Watts-esque fills. That track that I covered, In the Stars, like that intro is very, very, very Charlie Watts, but it's Steve. And I think there's a lot of Steve feel and sound. I think that's where it comes into it, and the production elements, perhaps. But yeah, I think he does a great job of like making the song sound like what it should do, but still kind of like it's got that Charlie Watts kind of feel, the swing to it. He kind of like, he understands the Simon, you know, because he's worked with all of them individually as well. So he's no stranger to the band at all, you know.
I guess it's kind of maybe happening more and more, it's probably happened many times throughout history, obviously, but it brings to mind what Annika's doing with Rush at the moment.
Of course,
same sort of thing where you've got this job of filling this very legendary drummer's shoes on stage. How much of that do you imitate and play exactly like the track, the record, and how much of it do you bring your own sort of flair, your own style, maybe like you said, like a production type thing, or,
a sound, a feel, and all that.
And do it sort of honor the parts, like, and do it justice, but at the same time acknowledging like you are not this person, and that you're not and even if you wanted to be, you probably couldn't.
You couldn't possibly, sort of thing, 100%.
And I guess it's kind of the job of session players in general anyway, when you're in the studio and someone goes, oh, I want it to feel like Bonham or whatever, you've immediately got to put on a different cap where this is like me intentionally playing my version of this drummer, because you're never going to be able to be that drummer or sound exactly like that drummer. I mean, maybe
you can try. Pretty close. But
if people say, oh yeah, it needs to be like Travis, or it needs to be like Lars, or it needs to be like Bonham or whatever, like you've got to be able to like adapt ever so slightly.
I think this kind of segues a little bit nicely into the main topic, which is obviously running backing tracks, because we'll talk into maybe how we kind of got into it and stuff like that, but when maybe a question to kind of get ourselves started, but when you guys got into playing with backing tracks, did you find that you either had to put on, the drummer of the song or the drummer who is in the band that you're working with hat, quote unquote, or did you feel like I just need to play my interpretation of the part and kind of stay in my lane to make sure everyone feels comfortable because we're on the rails, sort of thing? Have you guys ever felt like that with sort of tracks?
Well, I'll answer that quickly, and I'll let Jay, and I'm probably I'm gonna just sort out the lighting in here while I answer the question. The easy answer for me for that is, ironically, when I've played a track, it's been with an originals artist, and I recorded the album, so it was me. Easy, I just pretended to be me. But again, that was a little bit of kind of, hang on, I've got to actually. The album wasn't out, so I didn't have my own playing for reference. And I'm like, what did I play in this? That's the only time where I've had to kind of play or remember what I'm doing. But I was very conscious of like, you can't now like ad lib a couple of cool fills for the live. You've got to keep it, album-esque, shall we say? But
side note, have you ever listened back to a recording or been sent a recording and be like, who is this? And they've been like, this is you. Because I had this recently where I've never had it before, obviously, because I don't have like thousands of songs over. But a friend sent me a mix. He's like, oh, what do you think of this? I was like, this is really cool. Like, when did you do this? He's like, we literally did this last summer. I was like, I couldn't even recognize like my own playing. I had to play it again, and I was like, oh yeah, I think
good.
I was like,
you should get him.
I was like, this sounds familiar, but I was like, I cannot believe. I know I'm 30, but I can't believe I've forgotten that already. Sort of thing. But sorry, I don't know if you've ever had that before. It's weird, but
that is interesting. No, I've not yet had that, but I mean, as you say, like
it will catch you.
Even more so, I've not really I've done like loads and loads of recording for songs that I won't have remembered, but maybe it will one day.
It'll sneak up on you, like a bad back.
To answer your question about the like imitating other drummers, I think when I first started out doing cover gigs, I took it very seriously. I don't know whether that was like a uni thing, like at school, at uni, they'd be like, right, if you're playing Superstition, you've got to really try and embody Stevie, and and if you're playing like Tower of Power, then you've got to be like David Garibaldi, and like you've just got to like basically morph between these different feels like every other song. And they'd even go as far to say like, I don't know, snare tuning and the way that you kind of change things, the sizes of your drums and all of these types of things. And then you get on a covers gig and you realize it's like boom, 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 and you're doing 15 songs in 45 minutes or whatever, and it's like I'm not changing much,
Yeah.
and people here do not
They don't care
/
Yeah.
care if
Yeah.
I sound like Stevie or if
Yeah.
I just play the general vibe of this iconic drum part.
Yeah.
And I think so when I first started, I would be very much like, I must imitate this drummer exactly. And I'd spend a lot of time practicing it anyway, like outside of gigging, trying to imitate these other drummers. I think that is a good thing. But I think realistic when you get on these gigs, and also hearing other drummers do it as well. Like if you ever listen to other bands cover and you're like,
Yeah.
they're not playing anything like the original part, or I play that very differently, or is that intentional, or is that kind of just their like take on, like they don't know it, or whether they've kind of interpreted it and made it into something, so
or the opposite, where you're like, what, how are they, why are they playing this is
it could just be completely left field. So I think eventually I sort of landed on like I don't think that many people care, certainly for like a live like function type gig. Whereas in the studio I've had people sort of say something a little bit more specific, and I've been like, right, I need to like put that hat on, but yeah, I don't tend to kind of morph between drums. I don't know, like I'd try and play, if they're doing a Beatles song, I'll try and be a little bit more Ringo, or same with like a Foo Fighters song or a Blink song or something like that. Like but I do feel like, I don't know if there's a different conversation. You've got feel, and then you've got like signature like parts and feels. And I think that you can play the song well just playing the parts. But you might not necessarily like feel or sound like Travis or the song that you're playing,
I think you're right. I think it's that fine balance of like, I'm gonna remain myself, but I'm still gonna like just open that door to, like you said, the iconic like second verse fill in, or first verse and fill in, like all the small things or whatever that you kind of can't not play, or I think I throw a lot of people off when I play Mr. Brightside, because I take a lot of what Ronnie does live, which is just all over the place, because it goes, and not a lot of people that play that song are either A, fans of the Killers, or B, have heard enough like live variations to kind of go. It is a little bit niche. Oh, you were really going for it in Mr. Brightside. I was like, well,
did the live version of 2009 at this like festival.
Exactly, I was referencing the Royal Albert Hall from 08, but nice. Okay, well, maybe let's just roll then into a couple of things we want to discuss. So let's kind of do a bit of a merger of how we got into running some backing tracks, / how often or how experienced are we with backing tracks on gigs. So they are going to be mostly gig based, aren't they, really? How much, how often, how, when, who, what, why, where, when, as they say.
Well, I'm looking forward to this episode. And by the way, listener, you won't know this, but fair play to Jamie for the talking he's done for the last 5 minutes. Because if you knew what I'd been faffing with in the background to try and get
You're right there, Matt.
It's a craziness. Because now I've got all the lights on where I'm recording this. And as you can see, there's a glare. I've got a flare from the spotlights, and I'm trying to position myself so it's not cutting my face in half.
It's cinematic. It looks great.
Yeah, okay. But I digress. So apart from the one I mentioned when I've done this stuff on this live album launch, where we basically played the album from top to bottom with backing tracks that had strings on and extra keys and stuff like that. The only time I've ever used it is when we've, with my rock band, done a couple of kind of set closers where there's been far more. So we've done like Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, and we want more stuff in the background. The singer's learnt the keyboard part, but then there's a bit where he struggles to sing and play because it's syncopated, and he's like, I can't sing that and play the triplety thing with my hands. So we've put that on a click, and I think we also did While My Guitar, not My Guitar Gently Weeps. It might have been actually and we've done like kind of that very famous version, the live version where Prince comes up and comes out and shreds,
legs his guitar at the end.
Yeah.
Collar.
We've done that, and so that was me with a click and the track, and then everyone else on the band had the track, but only track was going out front. They didn't have, because the guitarist wouldn't wear in ears, so he was just playing playing a 4-piece with a 4-piece band, and I had the click, and it was, being honest, not done a lot of it, so it took a while for me to get to the point where actually I got to the point where I'm listening to the track rather than listening to the click, and feeling it as if I was playing with musicians rather than trying to play or keeping with a metronome. You know what I mean? But I'm really looking forward to the rest of the episode, because that's my very limited experience with it. So I'll be on a learning curve with all the other listeners. But I know, Jay, you're like far
Jay's the other end.
Yeah, he's the other end of the spectrum in terms of Mr. Function Band.
I was, just as you were speaking, I was thinking, what projects have I not played?
That says it all.
I've definitely got a bunch of projects where it's sort of like half and half. We do some tracks with click and some where we don't. But I think, or like even run ears and stuff. I haven't even done something without ears being ran for a long time. Actually, no, I did a cajon gig over the weekend. I didn't run ears for that, but
cajon.
I was on a cajon gig.
I'm not even sure we're allowed to let you on the.
Carry
on the podcast.
On the unthinkable.
I have to censor that. Hang on.
Cut that one out.
We don't want the C word on here. We can't.
Symbol.
I actually I take down like a little crash cymbal with me as well, and I got like a little foot tambourine, and
you don't try and defend it now by making
try and make
yourself...
it
No,
interesting. I'm not convincing you guys.
There's a thing called floor tom conversion kits. They're great.
I mean, I would
snares.
rather a kick snare hat situation, but they weren't having it anyway.
That's fair.
So I've not really done an awful lot without, or no, I tell a lie. Growing up, I played in church loads, and we were never on clicks and tracks for that. So that was, I guess, my experience doing no tracks. But when I started getting into function bands, it was like every single. Well, the first function band I joined was every song was to track and to click, and there was a start and there was an end, and that was how we were going to play it. And for me, I was more than happy with that. It felt really comforting. I don't know how to describe it. It just felt really safe. Like I just felt like, there's a right and there's a wrong. And I think especially when I was new to the scene, I was like, I just need like the correct. Here's where we're starting, here's where we're ending. And so as I was learning the ropes a little bit, I think that it was quite nice to be like, I'm not going to be too fast or too slow because the click's here. So I didn't have to worry about that. So in a way, it sort of like took some stuff off my plate because, it was kind of done for you in a way. But it also, I think as time went on, when I was playing without click and more like just jamming with people, it made those times a little bit more like special. I don't know, like I enjoyed them more because I felt especially when you get, I think, past a certain level and it's like you can play with click or without click, and the click is not like this like thing that's correcting you. I think that's maybe another conversation. But if you're without click and you're there and you don't need the click and you're actually just vibing off of each other, and it's not because you need something to keep you in time, I think that you can create something really, really cool, like a musical sort of atmosphere. And that is, you can't recreate that with click. We all know those moments on stage. I think that, and we can probably get into it later, but I think it's one downside to playing with the click is that you lose that authentic, I don't know, some people might call it feel. I don't think that it's completely unattainable if you are playing with the click, I would argue, but yeah, to be able to sort of flow with the time as a band, I think clicks can sometimes be slightly limiting, but anyway, sorry, I feel like
you're right there. You're bound to the rails, which, like you said, you can't create, you can't alter the vibe. I guess is what you're kind of saying, isn't it?
And I guess it means you can't react to an audience doing, if they really do a thing, or we're going to drag out this centre section because the crowd are really into the quiet bit and they're singing along.
Unless you're running, we could talk about this as well, unless you're running a really fancy like Ableton session, then that's definitely not possible. Just if you're running a set backing track.
Yeah, a file.
Yeah, exactly. It's like start to finish or whatever. Then there's just no way you can be like, let me just quickly go and find the waveform for the chorus and drop it in again, or whatever. Wow. That's why things like Ableton exist. And if you've got a little cheeky God mic or something on, you can be like, let's go for another chorus, and the track can do that with you. But just you were saying that as well, like adapting to the like audience and the crowd. I also think you can adapt more to the band. And I only think about that because of a thing that happened to me this weekend, because I was on a gig where it was exclusively tracks, every single track, and it was a dep gig. I asked the singer at the start, is it 1 bar count in or 2 bar count ins for them all? And he was like, it's 1 bar count in for all of them. And I was like, cool. Superstition comes up and I'm like, is 2 clicks and then I'm in, or is it 1 bar, 2 clicks and I'm in? I happened to have listened to that one before just to get it in, get it right, and it was 2 clicks and I start in on 3.
Wow.
But we got to all the small things, and obviously I started on the end of 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he said 1 bar count in, so I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, and just straight in. But like, I did it and no one else came in, and I was just like, oh no, like
great.
I'm actually just like playing drums for a bar by myself, and they were looking at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
you said,
right? You said. And I'm like, if it's any different, then like tell me, like, it's all 1 bar apart from all small things. Or like if there are any like particular drum intros, like sometimes they do start halfway through the bar, like Superstition, like all small things and stuff like that. Like you kind of need to know those things ahead, because especially if there aren't a lot of things on the backing track and you don't know whether you're in time or not until some BVs come in the chorus. You can think you're in time, but then you get to the chorus, you're like, no, we're not in time, we're a bar.
We're out. Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened in All the Small Things. I actually stopped the track, and because everyone wasn't playing, and I was like, was that right? And they were like, yeah, man, that sounded great. And I was like, why weren't you playing then?
Yeah.
I pressed play, came in exactly the same way. They started playing with me, but then we got to the chorus and we were a bar out, and I was like, no, that wasn't right.
Yeah.
It was a 2 bar count in. If you'd told me that, we would have been fine. So I then killed the track halfway through. Guitarist is like looking at me like, why have you killed the track? And I'm like,
because we're not in time.
We're not in time.
Oh gosh.
And oh man, it was embarrassing to like, you start playing this massive beat at the start of this Blink 182 song.
Nothing.
There's no one else playing, and you stop, lean down, press stop, and then look up at the singer and like, are you okay? Like, what were we doing? Was that right? And him going, oh yeah, I think that's right. And I'm like, this is
you can't think. It's yes or no.
No, it's yes or no. It's
people who don't know.
Tell me when I'm coming in.
Yeah.
And then
people who can't count bars and don't know their own tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what?
it was a very unique situation with this particular lineup, and I was sort of depping for them. It was all very last minute, and I think their bass player wasn't their regular bass player. He kind of did it on the side and stuff, and he definitely didn't know a lot of the more modern songs, which didn't help at all. But and then there was the classic like Sex on Fire, where the guitar starts on the end of 4 or whatever, and I'm counting like crazy with the click, like, no, I know where I'm coming in.
Yeah.
But the guitarist, I don't think, started in the right place. And so we were out by like a beat when we got to the chorus. So again, I'm like stopping the track, middle of the song. Everyone's looking at me like, that was rough. And I could see, I had a friend of mine, a drummer in the crowd. He was like looking at me, just like grimacing like through the first of Sex on Fire, as I'm like absolutely like just working so hard, being like, here's the one, get locked in with me. And they're all looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, get in with my groove, I'm not changing. And he was like grimacing all the way through, like, and then eventually like I did like some obvious feel and was like, come on, this is the chorus. Like,
Yeah.
let's just like get through this. Because
Begs the question a lot of those times, like, why are we playing click track with Sex on Fire and Superstition?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly it.
I know.
Why
and
you don't need it?
If we weren't with a track and we were out by a beat, I could lock on with you.
You could just correct.
And
Yeah.
correct. Even though it's frustrating, even though you then look like you're the one that's made the mistake, which
Yeah.
I also don't like.
Yeah.
But you can do that. Whereas if you've got a backing track, you know, there isn't much doing that unless, you know, the backing vocals come on and everyone goes, oh yeah, we're a bar out, like, what, or a beat out. Like, what do? You can't just like jump a beat ahead or whatever. Like that's
This is it. Yeah,
it's wild.
you're on the rails, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, just to kind of circle back to your question earlier, I think it can be quite limiting, you know, as a band as well as freeing, in some cases. And I think that obviously being able to adapt to the crowd and the vibe in the room, being able to adapt, obviously in terms of feel on stage, but also in terms of those types of things where like and it's going to happen when you're on a gig with someone that doesn't quite come in the right place or is one beat out or whatever. You've got to just like, nah, it's fine. Let's just go from here. You know, correct it while you can and keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Do we have like a lot of experiences with like actually? So Matt, for example, I know this is your sort of, like you said, one in any situation, but have you been in the hot seat of running them, or has it been coming from someone else? Like how has that kind of worked? And what were you running it on as well?
So the MD, who was the co-writer and producer of the album, he was pressing the space bar basically.
Was he playing anything else, or was it literally just
he was
on the track?
He was playing bass. He was playing bass
cool.
on that gig. He's a multi-instrumentalist and plays guitar, plays keys and plays bass.
Nice.
And so he's all over that. And what kind of heightened the situation on that evening is that the artist we were doing it for, she'd got her own guys in to do the sound system.
Okay.
And the MD who didn't know who they were, they didn't turn up on time. They got masses and masses of equipment, which was far too much for the hall or the venue, which was quite a big place actually. But they there was a gang of 6 of them all trying to work out how to use it for the first time. Which felt like that. And
always good.
Yeah, and then I got a guy who was doing the levels on an iPad, and he kept standing at the side of the stage and walking out front and coming to the back. So there wasn't like an on-stage monitor guy and a front of house sound guy. And I'm like, I've got hardly any click in my ear, and I need it louder. And so I had this deafening cowbell all the way through because it's just the way it was balanced. It was getting lost in the mix of all the other instruments I was getting monitor feed. And I don't know what he was running, to be honest, in terms of what system it was on. It was John and Mac, and it looked like it was just a pretty standard kind of just start-stop tracks.
Yeah,
you know,
could have been something like iTunes, maybe. Literally just could have play or hit the files and stuff. Yeah.
But he was very clear. I says, right, Matt, so you'll get one click, you'll get one bar, and then you get one bar to click the band in, then we're in. So it was 2 bars. It was very clear because he'd done that for every song. So what I nearly tripped up on, we played the opening song in 4/4. Great. It's good. And then so the next song comes in, and I get my click, and I click the band in, and it was a quarter note click for 6/8.
Oh
yeah.
So I'm going, only 2 clicks for the bar.
Well, no, it wasn't, but it just really threw me because I went 1, 2. It gave it like the full. So it was like, so when I started, I went dung, and I heard him. Oh, it's this dung, and I had to quickly just drag to a different subdivision. But I was like, but of course, I'm clicking the sticks. So no one knew what was happening. It just felt odd to me because I wasn't in the right subdivision in my head.
Yeah, I played a song like that a couple months back. I can't remember what song it was, but it was something that was like double time, and the clip was like quarter note, and it was I wonder maybe it says something like Valerie or something like that.
Or like Valerie, Walking on Sunshine, Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Yeah.
Songs, they're all like kind of to feel.
Yeah.
to get
So weird.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
But so I know you talked about what were your question, Harry, about kind of what systems were running and the rest of it, and I'll let you guys talk about that because I know you got a fair bit of experience as well with that, Harry, and kind of God mics and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But as the guy in the room who got the least experience by some margin, when you guys are asked or you're building tracks, what's the how-to for kind of start from scratch, or whatever system you're using, whatever program? What are you doing to build those tracks up? Are people sending you, oh, this is the violin section, the horn section? What, just talk me through, and for those listeners out there that don't run or kind of interested in how to get going with it, how do you physically go from, right, I've got a blank Mac in front of me, how do I build my tracks and incorporate a click? How do we make sure the click doesn't go out front?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Just
I mean,
give me the lowdown.
I think it's quite different now because, like, my experience is quite like varied over time. If that makes sense. So, like, the Bee Gees, for example, run tracks, but they don't run it for everything. And I think all their tracks were stuff that they literally just downloaded, like on, I don't know, backingtracks.com, say, for example, and they just found that they're in the right key, right structure, cool, happy days. And it's literally just the main point of it is obviously how you separate the click is you pan one to the left and one to the right, and you get a splitter, and so it's like 2 feeds, and then they'll send you both, but they'll only send one out the front. But then they can pan that to make sure the track isn't just coming out the right side of the speaker, it's coming out in full and so on. So that's like the easiest way.
Yeah.
But now I think it's very different. Like with Ali, it's all originals music. So he opens up the project and takes what he wants, mutes the drums, mutes the guitars, maybe keeps this guitar, mutes the lead vocal, done. Bounce out, put it left and right, done. So, and he'll maybe like extend the intro. We have usually like a 4-bar count in.
So he's taken the stems from his
taking the stems from the record.
Version,
It's exactly the same. Yeah.
Muted X, muted X, muted XY, and then anyone playing live, he mutes them, and then he bounces out the
some of our BVs obviously are taken out, but some of them are still in there, just lower in the mix, so that they just sound bigger.
Just fill out.
Some of his stuff is maybe like double tracked, but a bit lower. Whatever it might be, our actually tracks going forward are going to be different because we did a live session that we've sort of like rebuilt some of the older songs around, which is quite cool because like keys have changed and all that sort of stuff, and we're going to have like a set intro and all that sort of stuff. So that's very much like from the structure of the song, from the actual project, from the actual session, we're taking everything from and making the track from it very easy, all in Logic. But I know a lot of other people that I dealt with that make tracks. One of them being like the house band, for example. I know that Sean makes all of those, so he'll score it all out on like a Logic or whatever and get all the sounds and basically build the arrangement himself. And then build the track. Well, that is the track. And then we'll make all the cues as well. So it'll be like verse, 2, 3, all that sort of stuff. Which, there's jokes to be made about that stuff because it's, kind of funny and whatnot.
That's reminded me, actually, I've done a whole other gig when I was given backing tracks and cues, but we'll come back to that. I forgot about that.
But then another band that does that, makes the cues themselves, as in records them, like verse, 2, and all that sort of stuff, but uses Moises. So we'll download the song, take out the bass, take out the drums, take out the guitar and the vocals, and then just keep the rest. Because it's that good now that you can just download the original. You can, key change it. There you go. And you just split it out. Add a click to it as well. Yeah, or you can just do that yourself in Logic. Bounce out, job done. So, but in the house band, we just run it off of Sean's laptop just as the audio file. And it's split out correctly from his laptop as it would do and just goes into the desk correctly. With Ali, as you showed me, Jay, there's an app called Stage Tracks, which you can kind of put all that in and it does all the sort of it for you. You can put it on an SPD and all that sort of stuff. I don't really have any experience with that because my one's really old, but I'm sure Jay does. But I think we both, as you mentioned to me, that's the kind of long, more complicated way around things. But yeah.
I mean, I think with the SPD, it's it kind of depends. I think there's something quite nice about having an SPD to trigger things with a drumstick whacking a pad
Yeah.
than reaching down to a bit of tech and hitting a button.
Yeah.
I think that there is something to be said about that. And if you go and see bands these days, I don't know if you agree. I think there's more out there triggering them off of some sample pads or off of SPD, off to the side, than there are
iPads.
An iPad.
Yeah, or Ableton, it all just does it all for them, and they're not doing anything.
I think there are kind of probably more out there where, in fact, I know because I've been and sort of backstage at a couple of larger productions as well, where they'll have like a couple of Macs set up with the identical Ableton projects. And one is literally the backup if one goes down, and then the other one, it's you press space,
see you at the end of the set,
hour and a half, and then you're done, and you don't do anything else. And you I've chat with my friend, his band, they'll have like, I don't know, 30 seconds between a song, and it'll be like, right, okay, talk about merch, and then the singer will sort of say their little bit, and they're like, okay, next song in 10 seconds or in 2 bars, and it will just kind of be like, wrap it up now, we're gonna move on or whatever. And there's like literal cues, and the whole show is sort of choreographed that way. And then nowadays, obviously, you can also map out the lights with MIDI as well. So once you've got it all to track and everything is happening at a certain point in time, you can then put your lights in with that as well, which I guess is also pretty cool. To kind of have everything as like a cohesive show.
Yeah, that reminded me, I did a dep gig for like a 90s house gig, and it was like 90 minutes of literally, it would ting, 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 stop, ting, 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 and you're straight in. And there was like drums in the backing tracks, but they set up their own lights, which were MIDI linked, and it was a different MD, but weirdly the same artist that I did the original gig for, because I got to know her. She asked me if I could do this gig. She wasn't the MD on it, but and it was a festival, and he'd sent me the backing tracks, and I got all the music in PDF, and I basically just run it. I'd run it 4 times, I think, before the gig. That's all the time I had. 90-minute show, start to stop, no breaks. And there was drums going out the front on the track. We said, we want you there, Matt, to just play a bit heavier, give it a bit more performance, and just give it some more of a vibe. There's only 3 of us on stage: the singer, the drummer, and the guy doing all the keys, who's the MD.
Yeah.
And he pressed the space button or whatever. They got their own sound man as well who went with them, and they rigged all the lights up. And it was only when I got on the gig that he says, "Oh, it should be a slightly different backing track because it's got verbal cues in it as well." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I was listening, and then suddenly I got this voice in my ear. Yeah. Okay, we're going to the chorus in 2, 3, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Big hits on 4, 2, 3, 4, and again 3, 4. And like I'm on the gig, and it's the first time I've heard it. So
just tells you what to do, though. It's really easy.
No, and I was, as soon as it's that, I'm like, okay, I don't need to think about this now. I can follow the track and follow the chart.
I mean, I know we should probably wrap it up soon, but this kind of maybe leads on to the kind of larger question and kind of a classic debate, I guess, amongst musicians is all that a bit too much? Is it should we be doing that? Should we be putting cues and clicks and lights and all of this like all mapped out? Is that quote unquote cheating a little bit?
Well, based on the last half an hour of conversation, I don't know why we do any of it. Just knock it all on the head. Employ more musicians and people. You know what I mean? But
I think it depends on the style of the project, doesn't it? If you're an originals band and you're putting on a show, I think absolutely, yeah. If that's your art, if you're an originals blues band, no. But if you're an originals, sort of popular music artist, that anything like that, there's ways around not doing that stuff live, like drum machines and stuff that can trigger all that sort of stuff. The War on Drugs are very much, you'd think they're on track, but I think they literally trigger a lot of their stuff happens to have like 808 beats that just go all the way through. So I'll set that off and we'll just play along to that, So I think there's ways around that, but I think in general, I think it really is kind of project by project. I think the cue sort of thing, it's like, I think it depends how over MD'd the thing is,
Yeah,
you know. Like, why are we putting like, you know, offbeat ease hits in Superstition? Like, we don't need this. You know, this song
no.
is,
There's
you know, vanilla
a
enough, you know.
yeah. I guess there's a balance to be had between like you've got to like know the song,
Yeah.
and like be able to and be but also have like freedom
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it to be like, oh, you must hit all of this stuff. What if you kind of start up a sort of phrase or sort of a little sort of back and forth with another band member, but you don't want to have to feel like you can't do that because the backing track doesn't allow that,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, you can't. Goes back to what we were saying earlier about just being a little bit restricted by having you know, set things on the track.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could kind of see like imagine like you're playing huge shows to thousands of people every single night, like your Taylor Swift and so on, and you know, it's been posted online like what they hear in their in-ear mix and whatever. It will be like chorus too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
before. Like you cannot miss your cue.
Yeah, can't afford to not.
You can't afford to.
Yeah.
Like, it is an absolute train wreck if you do that.
Yeah.
So if you have one moment of you just zone out for a sec, or you think, oh, I've got this, or of course I know what bit's coming up next, and then you just got this voice that goes, nope, this is where you're at.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and then you can do it. I think that it is 100% worth it if you're doing the same show over and over and over again every night. You don't want to have to risk any of it.
Well, that's when like stuff like lights and video and all that sort of stuff, that it comes into, you need those cues because it's not just the band that is locked into that structure. There's the whole machine is going, you know, where it's different when bands are on those still stadium shows, but it's just like a repetitive video, or like a light guy just kind of vibing, you know, or like things are set for the whole song. But I think maybe that's where, you know, we can wrap up, but I think that's where the God mic stuff comes in. For anyone who doesn't know, the God mic is like a microphone that the MD or someone will have that only goes to your ears, so you can have all that on-stage communication without it being rigged to the track. I do a lot of that stuff with the house band. Sean is incredible at it, the guitar player. But I did it on the weekend, and we're both doing it on this weekend's gig, which would be funny. But that's where like things like people are enjoying, I don't know, Take Your Mama by the Scissor Sisters. Do you fancy a solo? Should we go for another solo? Or like, let's go again. You know, just those few phrases that...
Let's keep on the chorus.
Yeah,
Repeat the chorus.
no one needs to, you know...
This is dying, let's end
Let's
it
get
now.
out. Yeah.
No.
Or you're following the set list and you go, let's not do Billie Jean next, let's do this, you know. And it's just it just makes everything flow so much easier. No one can panic. No one can, you know, you can be like, right, we're going to end on these hits. It's these ones, ba ba ba, but we'll do it next time. I'll tell you when. Happy days.
And everyone knows all at once. Like, well, quite often we'll be like,
down the line.
The guitarist will be like, oh, I don't want to do Billie Jean, and then like the bass player is having a drink of water, so he doesn't catch that.
Yeah.
So then he like looks at you, he's like, what are we doing next? And you have to be, oh, we're skipping Billie Jean.
And you can
like,
see all
the
that.
guitarist also know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like watching you, and it's like sort of like 10, 20 seconds before we're all finally on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're doing this next one then.
Yeah, and like the people that can't communicate like that, like the singers can turn to you and just be like, this or that, whatever the phrase is, you know.
Repeat, or
And just do that again, you know. Like on the weekend, I was asking the singer, I was like, is there a solo in this song? They're like, no, not in this one. I was like, cool, you know. Or like, do we end here? Yeah. You know, just easy stuff, you know. Or you can be like, oh, that person that's just put their drink on the speaker, do you want to go and, you know, other things that aren't related to playing the song, you know. Or they're bringing out the food, let's maybe cut it here and we'll...
I feel like the God mic is kind of like a happy sort of middle ground.
I think so.
Way.
Yeah.
I would kind of maybe suggest, like, you know, you haven't got that restrictive like backing tracks and clicks and so on, but you've also got something that is still steering the ship and holding everyone together, and can deal with those situations that arise. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say like people say, oh, I don't shy away from click gigs necessarily, but when people say, oh, I don't do many click gigs because I do a lot of blues and jazz. Obviously, it's very improvised and solos take as long as they take, and so it's not necessarily my bag. So it's not like it comes up very often. And I'm kind of mostly, if we're not playing to a click, I probably prefer that, to be honest. but I get the thing, like when you've got bands that actually have got quite a big production sound, and it's like, well, to get, even if we brought in a saxophonist or a trumpet and a saxophonist, it's still going to sound like a trumpet and a saxophonist, not a brass section.
Yeah.
Or we bring in two violins and a cello, it's not going to sound like a 15-piece string section for an orchestra. It's going to sound like two violins and a cello.
Yeah.
So you thought, well, it's economically, you can't take 5 session musicians on a mini tour.
Expensive.
Yeah.
To have that one violin player playing their part.
Yeah. Because it's another part, it's another B&B room or whatever. It's another hotel room. It's more for another seat in the car. It's 2 vans instead of 1 van or whatever it might be. And now you just can't afford to tour. You can't afford to go out. Or you're a band that maybe's got a very small following locally, but you're going to go to another town, and now you've got to charge 4 times as much on the door. And so,
especially when it's like that one song, like, oh, it'd be great to have sax on that one song. Put it on the track then, like that's the one song you set to the track. Cool.
Weirdly, Montgomery Slack's our latest single, Fabio played sax on the record. There's a 2 chorus sax solo. But when we do it live, we don't run a track. Callum plays a 2 chorus guitar solo. And it's like, well, this is our new single. Please go and listen to the original because Fabs plays saxophone on it. So we make the decision. We don't want to be tied to a thing because we want to keep it live and in the moment. We recorded it all in one room other than the sax overdub anyway. So I get it from a financial perspective. A little bit of me, the cynic in me would say that's because there's some people somewhere else in the chain that want to make sure they make more money rather than putting the music first necessarily. It's I have enjoyed being in a band where we've put out like the odd song on a it's a cover gig, and the odd song's got full, because I know I can play as if I'm with a full orchestra playing comfortably numb, or 3-piece of keyboard section or whatever. Overdub guitar keyboard part. So
I think it could be super effective. Having just like done tastefully, I think a track is great. But I do think it can probably swing very far the other way. And sometimes it can just like, I don't know, I don't want to like throw shade on solo guitarists and people like that, but it can just sound like you're doing karaoke.
100%.
All the drum, especially when there's drums on it. I don't know, something about
instruments that
karaoke track drums that just do my head in. I just can't enjoy it.
Book a bandmate.
Or at least do like a little stomp box or something. I'd rather that than.
Well, I've seen it. A couple of guys I follow actually do loop pedal stuff. And the loop pedal stuff is such a vibe, and they're doing it live. You
Harmony
can see
mics you can do as well, which are all very clever.
The skill that's gone into building that there and then, it also gives the audience a bit of, what's happening here? And the fact that it is all happening rather than just press play, sing along to this, because that is guitar karaoke. But that's a good vibe because that suits the venue of like the wedding reception or whatever, when you want someone playing 100%. A few songs and he's got a big back catalogue and someone can call a tune. I can do that for you, because he can build it there and then. That makes a lot of sense. But
sure.
I don't know whether I'll do much more of it in the future, but I'll definitely I've got Moises and I'm playing about a bit with that. But I look forward to getting into a bit more of the nitty gritty with it. And never used a God mic, or I've been in a gig with one. So no, if anyone else out there has done that, that'd be good to hear. Good to hear it. Yeah,
I did try it once, but I think just the settings on my mic were not great, and it was like I was trying to do it from the drum kit, and so every time I like turned the channel on, it was just like my cymbals and stuff. So I definitely I kind of got put off.
You got to put it in a certain position for sure. You kind of want it like away, or a certain kind of mic, But I got asked if I wanted to do the pedal thing where you can just turn it on and off. I was like, I can't be thinking about that as well. Like,
no,
I'll get closer on it so you can hear me better. You know what I mean? And you can just put up with it.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe let's wrap it up.
Yeah, man. Great
chat
thanks,
there.
guys, for backing tracks and click tracks. and vocal cues and God mics. Send us your perspective on that, dear listener. We'd love to know how much, or whether you've done it for the first time, how you got on doing it, whether you do it for your bread and butter, like Jamie seems to do, or whether you've never done it before, but you found the chat useful because now you've had an insight into how it goes. How do you feel when you go to see a band with backing tracks? Do you enjoy it? Does it take away from the performance for you? Or do you feel it adds to the music and the experience that you're getting when you're in that? That'd be good to hear from you. So you can find us, DM us, give us, let us know if when you've listened to the episode and where you're listening. We would like to know whereabouts you are in the world. Jamie listened to the last episode in Italy, so he doubled our Italian audience. Proudly doubled our Italian audience. So we'd love for you to share it with someone else as well. It's a really great way of more people hearing what we're talking about and doing. And we'd love to build our audience on that. So thank you very much in advance. If you send this episode to someone you know, DM us on Instagram, which is at Countersin Podcast. We'd love to see you over there. We'll be dropping some reels as we have done for all our episodes on this episode, and we'll be this will be coming out on the day it comes out. And he's looking at looking at Harry and Jamie.
It's this Friday, 17th.
Yeah, could have done with a God mic there. You see, and I could have done that. 17th, and then it'll be out the following Friday on YouTube, and you'll be able to see the light flare that's going directly through my head and all the kerfuffle.
Yeah, all of us sorting
and
out our
Harry
light
both went
situations.
through turning lights on.
Turns out
Jamie
it's
did a cracking
dark
job.
at 10 o'clock now. It's weird.
Yeah, Jamie did a cracking job of keeping talking while we basically reset our rooms up. So glad you're back, Jamie.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster last week.
So it was really good.
On about my random gig experiences.
Yeah, you're all good. So yeah, thanks all for listening. It's been great to hear back again with you. And I say like, share, comment. And if you'd like to send us a few pounds for the enjoyment of this evening or the education you've had, you can do that through buymeacoffee.com/count us in podcast. And we really appreciate it. Thank you, gents. Thank you for my education tonight. Maybe I should send you both a coffee. Yeah, it'd be great. Look forward to it. If anyone's got any questions, give us a shout. Until the next time, thank you both.
See you next time.
Nice.